Good morning. It is 8:25 on a Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. Good morning. I've been starting my mornings with a coffee, my medication, and lately I have been journaling every day instead of just on Mondays, sometimes Sundays and Mondays, but I've been journaling every day. I had been in the habit of doing what I call my daily intentions, which is just writing a list of what I intend to do that day to kind of keep me motivated, keep me busy. And it worked really well while I was employed and going to work, and I had structure in my life. I've been off work now for 5 months, and I have a back injury, and it's been very difficult because I've never had an injury that lasted like this. I've gotten injured and recovered, but it's like I expected to bounce back from it and I didn't. So here it is 5 months later, and I'm now looking for a desk job or something that I can do that is not physical as being a waitress. That's what I've been doing the last 22 years. And the part of my back that's giving me the most trouble is responsible for the action of bending forward. And I found that interesting that during a lot of this time, while I've been home and not working, but trying to stay active, because what happens when you stop getting active, you lock up and you put on weight, and it's winter time and everyone seems to be putting on weight. Everybody I know, even people that have been skinny their whole lives, are suddenly like going, where did this come from? Everybody has a belly and everybody has what I call a fat suit. I feel like I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants right now, because I can feel that extra layer of fat, winter fat. I haven't weighed myself. I don't have a scale, but I can tell by how I feel in and out of my clothes, and how I look in and out of my clothes. I can tell I have put on weight. But I've also found that at the same time, I can go from feeling that way to feeling like, oh, actually, wow, I can still see ab definition, because I've been doing V-sits in my hot tub. Every time I'm in my hot tub, I do V-sits, which is basically that Pilates move where you're in the V. Your feet are pointing, your toes are pointing to the sky. You're balancing on your sitting bone. And it feels amazing in the hot tub, because when I'm in that position and I'm holding my abs in, and the water is kind of holding me up as well, and I'm just sort of bobbing and trying to hold my position. And it's like a form of meditation, I feel like, because I can get into a state of almost like complete balance and completely pain-free. No pain. And I also feel head to toe like my best self. I feel switched on, strong, and just, it's the most amazing feeling. It's basically the opposite of the way I had been feeling, not long before then. Just the feeling of being depressed, like feeling like you have a lot of weight pressing down on you and like you can't move, or if you do move, it's really, really slowly. But what I've been dealing with these last 5 months has been a type of pain that comes on almost without warning. Like I can be sitting completely still, and then my back will suddenly feel like it's collapsing. Like I think about like this part of my back feels like this. It reminds me of the stool. I moved that table into. I had set my wooden tabled bar stools on top of the table, and it fell off the top of the table and landed on the porcelain tile and splintered the wood. Like it, now it the stool went from being slightly wobbly to if anybody actually sits on this, it's gonna break. So I took it out of my kitchen so that no guests would accidentally sit on it, and you know, I got that table out of the kitchen and moved it. But that's how my back feels. It feels like, you know, looking at it, it still looks like a normal chair, but you can see that it's not completely broken, but it's not right. It's not stable. And it really, really hurts when that pain snaps on me. It's like, oh my God. And I've been videoing myself like this, but taking more time, you know, doing my hair and makeup. I'm completely not camera ready right now, but ow. That was the chair. The chair. Oh yeah, next week I'm getting another nerve test done where they inject temporary pain blockers into the nerves off to the side of my spine in that location. I've done it once before, but the process of just having to lie still while they're like touching my back, which is an area I don't like to be touched in ever. It's caused me a lot of problems over the years working in restaurants, and people saying, excuse me, behind, and touch me in the back, and I've dropped trays and screamed, and it's like a reflex automatic response that I don't quite know why I have it, but I really don't like my back touched. And so having to lay there face down and not be able to see, but feeling hands on my back, that was extremely uncomfortable for me. Like when they finished, the nurses were all like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Your lips are white." You know, and I kept thinking, like, I've been through worse pain than this. It's not even so much that the pain is so intense, but I think it was the idea that I had to lay completely still, and how I didn't like it. I did not like being touched and having a needle in my back. And when the pain medicine goes in, it feels very reminiscent of being stung by a bee, that stinging feeling. And it's very interesting that this summer, actually, I had went out to get a paintbrush out of my shed, and I leaned over to pick up a paintbrush, and I thought that I got hit in the back by a stick. Like, so I felt something hit my back, like something small but sharp, and then I realized that I had been stung by a wasp, because then the venom came in, and then I could feel the venom just sort of spreading out through my back, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I looked up and I saw a wasp nest with like about 6 other wasps. I'm like, oh shit, I better get out of here. And kind of laughed at myself. Like, the one time I'm wearing a shirt that isn't like, you know, that's actually showing my back, because the wasp literally stung me in the same spot where I had to get my nerve injection later. It's like on that upper or lower right. It was, I could point to it if I wasn't holding you. She has been ridiculous with wanting affection lately. I think she knows that I'm going through some stuff. She really is tuned into my moods a lot, I've noticed. Aren't ya? She also started sleeping in my bed with me. say she's a good bed partner because I don't even know she's there. I don't even know she's there. She clawed me pretty good though, yes, the other day, 2 days ago. Ugh. Like I felt she was needing me and I was wearing like a very thin t-shirt and very thin sweatpants. Like not good clothes to wear with a cat in your lap. Because they don't mean it. They just get excited and their claws come out. And it reminded me of when Leon used to sit on Richard's lap and he'd be wearing those like really thin pajama pants and he'd always be like, ow, ow. Like couldn't handle it. I mean, it does hurt, but I tried to move her and she sunk her claws in. Left some pretty deep wounds. I was like, oh boy, cat scratch fever. I love you, Mew. What is it? Oh. Oh. You're so cute. You're so cute. And she lets me hold her like a baby. I like that. He's a Mew baby. He's a Mew baby. Sometimes I put on my big black robe and I say, this is Mew protection. This sweatshirt's pretty claw proof. She can claw my shirt a little bit and it's fine. But I look at her and pretend she's a miniature Black Panther. She's an exotic black cat, you know. Even my son was like, Mom, I love that you have a black cat. I think that's cool. And I said, well, she didn't start out black. I thought she was a Siamese cat because she had blue eyes and gray fur with the black tipped ears. So she looked just like a Siamese, and she was actually a pair of kittens. We got 2 kittens, and at the time we got her, she was so small she could fit in a t-shirt pocket. That's how little she was. And she was also like the smallest, or like the runt of the litter. And they were the last 2 kittens to get adopted, and my coworker begged and begged and begged. Like, she's never begged me for anything so hard in her life. And the time I've known her, she's never begged me to do something more than she begged me to take these cats. And I really didn't really want cats, but Mew was Richard's cat. And she had a sister named Luna who looked just like her, but in my opinion, she was the prettier of the 2 because her fur was sleeker, where Mew's was kind of, she always had bad hair days, is what I said. Her fur just looked weird, like it was all matted, and it just was, and she was skinnier and awkward, and yeah, she was, I don't want to say the ugly duckling, but she wasn't the prettier of the 2. I thought Luna was definitely the prettier cat of the 2 of them. But both of them, they looked identical, except for, like I said, Luna she just looked healthier. Like she had more body mass. Like she just looked, in my opinion, better, sleeker, more healthy, more strong. And Mew seemed almost like the sickly one, the kind of one with the messed up hair and the wild child, I guess. But Richard loved that about her. I think that he could relate to that more. Like, he liked that about her. And she loved him. They had a good relationship. And she definitely loves when a man comes over. She loves Paul. She loves my ex-husband, Paul. She loves the boys, my sons, when they come over. She's very affectionate. I'd say she's almost like more like a puppy in some ways. What's that? Do you hear that? It's the furnace. She's been doing this thing now where she rubs her mouth across my hand. It's like just her mouth. She's like, it's almost like she's kissing me or something. It's like, oh, you're sweet. Well, as Richard used to say, she's a sweet cat. She's a sweet cat. And I'd be like, oh, she's annoying. Because she was always like, she was the annoying cat that was always wanting to rub up on you when you were like not in the mood. Like, oh, Mew, go somewhere else. I'm busy. Now that I live alone, she's been almost like oh, this is why people love their pets so much. And she is very, very soft. Very, very soft. I mean, probably the softest cat. I want to say you're the softest cat I've ever petted in my life. That I have a mink, not mink, but a fake fur stole, like, and it reminds me of her. Several times I've seen it in my, like, if I lay it on a chair or something when I come home and take it off, I think it's her. It's the same shade of black. When the sun hits her fur, she actually has some red, which doesn't always show. And I say there's really no such thing as a pure black cat, but she's pretty close. She doesn't have any white patches like a lot of other black cats I've seen. But her sister, Luna, disappeared pretty close to before Richard left. And I asked him if he was going to be taking, I assumed he would be taking Mew with him when he left because that was his cat, you know? And I was secretly happy about that because I really didn't want to have to clean up after a pet. I was like, it'd be nice. It's like I was sad. I had already grieved the loss of Luna and thinking, well, you know, I'm going to be losing her too. I'll just have a pet-free home, which is what I wanted originally. But he explained that she would not be safe where he was moving to. So she did not make it. She stayed here with me, and now I call her my rescue kitty. She's my rescue kitty. That purr box is going. What you doing back there? You like the camera? I think you should be on camera today. I think you're more camera ready than I am. The audience will forgive how a cat looks more than they will a person. Yeah. I think this is where we stop. I'm gonna shut this off. Wow, 20 minutes, damn. Okay, I'm gonna shut this off and give it a watch.